world. And in many ways, when we celebrate Shabbat, when we enter this space, when we try to go to that place of indwelling, that is that place of wonder. And that's what prayer tries to do at its best. And I think for many of us, it feels like it often falls short. But to open ourselves up. And they say it is very hard to connect through prayer if you're not praying. So mazel tov for all of you for being here. This is the first step. And we'll see what type of wondrous things occur this evening.
I'm doing a sound check. Are we on?
Oh, I'm on. Are you guys on? Are you on? Who's with me?
I think we
Are you?
might
Yeah.
have a minute. Okay.
Okay.
So I thought we would start today on page 10. If you need the words, you probably don't, because it has 3 words. Ma Yafeh Hayom. How beautiful is this day? Shabbat Shalom, of Shabbat peace, of Shabbat rest. So join with me in Ma Yafeh Hayom. In fact, I'll make it easy. We'll start just with the Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom.
We continue in the middle of page 13 with Yismechu. And this is a song of joy, a song of praise, a song of wonder, a song of, again, reaching up to what is beyond us, up into the heavens, to the skies, and to try to bring that sense of enormity right here down onto the earth. Let us join together. Page 13.
Mama my my mama yama mama mama yama mama 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 yama mama mama yama mama mama yama mama 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 yama mama mama yama mama mama yama mama 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 Yama mama mama yama mama mama yama mama 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 Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz yiram hayam umelo Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz yiram hayam umelo yama mama mama yama mama mama yama mama 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 yama mama mama yama mama mama yama mama 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 yama mama Yama mama mama yama mama mama yama mama 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 yama mama mama yama mama mama yama mama 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 yama mama.
We continue on page 20 and 21 for Lecha Dodi, our song welcoming in the Shabbos bride. And we will be doing verses 1, 2, and then on the second page, 5 and 9.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela Shamor vezachor bedibur echad Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Shemu tiferet v'liti lechad udi Likrat kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela Lechad udi Likrat kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela Likrat Shabbat Lechu v'nacha Ki hi mekor Habaracha Merash mikedev Nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila Lechad odi Likrat kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela Lechad odi Likrat kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela Hitorari Hivaorach Kumi uri Shir daberi Kevod Adonai alayik nigla Lechad odi Likrat kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela Lechad odi Likrat kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela Boi v'shalom materet bala Gam besimcha u'sola Toch emunei hamsegula Boi chala Lechad odi Likrat kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela Lechad odi Likrat kala Pene Shabbat Nekavela I so felt that you needed that.
I got it. It was delivered. Divine intervention. You can remain standing of body or spirit for the Barhu on page 28.
Barechu et Adonai HaMevoram. Baruch Adonai HaMevoram Le'olam Va'ed.
Please join me in the middle of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. We continue together in the middle of page 33 in preparation for the Shema. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than the holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושינתן לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשופך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
this afternoon there was some devastating news for some people, which was the news that Kyle Rittenhouse, who's accused of shooting two protesters and injuring another, was found not guilty. And there's a couple things that I'm just really holding as I'm metabolizing that news and trying to make sense of it for us and our country. The first is just holding this teenager, the 17-year-old, now 18-year-old, with compassion, just seeing him weeping. I just have that image in my mind of watching him weep as he heard the news. And I don't know what that weeping meant, but I just compassion for him as a young human at the center of all of this. And then I heard there were two Congress people who were fighting over who would give him an internship. And that made me feel kind of sick. And there was a lot of conversation with our interfaith partners about what are the texts that speak to this moment. And I am thinking of Pastor Najuma Smith Pollard, who drew a text from the prophet Jeremiah. And this is a text that's talking about, are we worthy of the land that we're on? And of course, they're not talking about America. Jeremiah is not talking about America. Jeremiah is talking about Israel and the right to be on that land. But I think many of us have felt like, for us, this land, this America has been a promised land, a place of safety, a place of security, a place of prosperity, a place of opportunity. And I think many of us are questioning, is that true? Is it those things? Will it be those things in the future? And so I just wanted to speak these words of the prophet Jeremiah, brought to me by Pastor Najuma. No, if you really mend your ways and your actions, if you execute justice between one man and another, if you do not oppress the stranger, the orphan, and the widow, if you do not shed the blood of the innocent in this place, if you do not follow other gods to your own hurt, then only will I let you dwell in this place, in this land that I gave to your fathers for all time. And I am just so conscious that as Jews, we know what it's like to be killed in the streets. And we know that the people that hate Black people hate Jews. And that is part of what white supremacy is about. And if we have any sense of our safety being secured with this judgment, we probably should think about the history of this country. And I don't say this to worry people, but I say this to be open and sincere. What does it mean when people are allowed to shoot other people in the streets? And I don't know, I'm carrying a lot of sadness around it today. And I want to be hopeful. I want to believe that there is like a pathway to a better place, for this to be a better land, to be a promised land. And we now prepare for our Mi Chamocha, our song of liberation and redemption. And I want to be there with all of you, walking, marching through a wilderness to a better place. And I'm just so grateful that you're here tonight to be with me, that I can be with you, that we can be together, that whoever is joining us online is with us, and that some way, somehow, we are going to find that path to the promised land. Let us join together for Mi Chamocha on page 40.
Adonai Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la la. On your supplement is the words to Hashkivenu, our prayer that we say at night. We say for protection, for comfort, and for a shelter of peace around us. Join with me. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom, Leshalom. Ve'hamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Amen.
Invite you to rise of body or spirit for the Amidah on page 46.
Oh God, as I stand before you, I ask for strength and for courage as I take time to look at myself. May I open my lips in prayer. Adonai sfatai tivta, ufi agite ilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham ve'Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Hastei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshiach Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah, Rav Lehoshia. Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem. Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishane Afar. Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Melech, Melech Memit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Veneman Atalach Hayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'Chol Yom, Yehalelucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You are invited to continue in prayer, pursuing the words in our prayer book or the meditations of your heart, standing or sitting when you're ready.
Ose Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Ose Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Ose Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ose Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Ose Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Ose Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom,
People spend years working to play the guitar, and I'm like, go straight to the egg. It's so powerful. So powerful. I don't like to play the egg sometimes with Rabbi Chasen because he's intimidated. Cantor Cates has more confidence, so she's like, play that egg, shake it. She does not mind. She is not intimidated. So I wanted to, this week's Torah portion is Vayishlach, and it's chock full of good stuff, mostly because it returns to this theme of brothers in tension. And those of us who have siblings, brothers, sisters, whoever it is, or just has dear friends, knows that sense of tension that arises when you're really close to someone. It just is inevitable. Nobody has cakewalk relationships all the time. That's not a real relationship. There's always some tension. So I think tension can be great. I think struggle can be a really wonderful teacher for us sometimes. Sometimes it's not helpful and we have to release it. We know sometimes it can consume us. But in this case, we are on the journey still with Jacob. Jacob is, he is the wily brother who tricks his brother Esau to receive his birthright. And then he tricks his dad and gets the blessing. So then the blessing goes from Abraham to Isaac and then to Jacob, jumping over the firstborn Esau. And rightfully, he's terrified because his brother Esau is this like hunky, hairy fellow who's a man of the fields. And Jacob's like a tent guy. He's a guy who hangs out in the tent a lot. And the rabbis try to rescue him by saying that he's someone who, when they say the tent, that means he was a student in a yeshiva. And he's away for 20 years. He has a great 20 years. Like things generally break his way. He marries twice to Leah and then Rachel. He has 12 kids, 11 boys, 1 girl. He'll have another boy after this for the 12 tribes. He becomes wealthy beyond belief. And it's time to go home, back to the homeland, like Jeremiah, back to the homeland. And as he is drawing close, he hears that his brother is waiting for him. So he's nervous. He doesn't know what he's going to face. It didn't go well. He really he wasn't the best brother. And so as he draws close, he decides to try to win favor with his brother by sending ahead waves of gifts in the form of cattle and other, animal livestock, which was amazing back then. It's like iPads and iPhones and those type of things. And but still he's nervous about what's going to happen. And he splits his camp and his kids and his wives into 2 groups so that if Esau comes after one and decimates one, that the other half will live. And eventually he sends everybody off and he is alone. And being alone can be kind of scary, especially in this, this is an agrarian society. They're really alone. He's not like alone in the West Village, or wherever, what's the equivalent here, whatever it is in Hollywood. He's alone. It's like the stars and the earth, and he's by himself, and he doesn't know what he's going to encounter. How will his brother meet him? And this is where it says in our text that a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. And they are just going at it. They're going all night long in this death match. And this person who's wrestling with him that we learn is an angel actually rips out his leg from his socket. But Jacob hangs in there and will not let go of him. And this other person says, please, you got to let me go. And Jacob says, I will let you go if you bless me. And this angel says, well, what's your name? And he says, Jacob. And the angel says, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have wrestled with beings divine and human and have prevailed. And so in this moment where he releases all of his wealth, all of his family. He's alone in the wilderness. He is in this death match. He doesn't know what is going to happen. He finally decides to release this being, and he is blessed. And in that blessing is the recognition of his transformation. That he's no longer Jacob, this kind of wily character who's not really trustworthy. And there's a recognition that he has grown, that he's changed, that he's transformed, and he becomes Israel. And that's what Israel means, Yisrael, one who wrestles with the divine, with El. And I've always loved that as the name of our people, is that we are B'nai Yisrael, or the children that wrestle. And really, I mean, I don't know who doesn't wrestle at the spiritual level, at least, if not with your children. And I would say many of the hardest times in my life where I have felt the most amount of growth have been in places where I've been alone, and I've really wrestled with some facet of my life. And I was thinking just about Kyle, about coming up for your bar mitzvah. And I think, I don't want to make you nervous, but it's like you come up in front of the community, you're reading in a language that you're normally not using all day long, and you're reading from this text that people have been reading for 2,500 years. And part of the experience is that it is kind of terrifying. I mean, every time I read Torah, I also feel terrified, but I'm also connecting. I'm also presenting myself into that text. And that text is also seeing me. And we get to learn from Kyle tomorrow. He gets to teach us Torah. He takes that old text and he makes it alive for 2021. And that is the gift when you go to a B'nai Mitzvah, how extraordinary it is. It's the most exciting part, is to see Torah through the eyes of the students that are really engaging it and taking it on each time. I wanted to note that I'm often, as I'm reading Torah, I'm thinking about the people who really don't get the best press and are often like the evil characters, like Pharaoh. I think Pharaoh, wasn't a great guy. He had enslaved the Jews, but also God hardens Pharaoh's heart, and that hardening of the heart results in his people suffering greatly. And Pharaoh the rabbis say Pharaoh doesn't have a lot of control over what happens. When Pharaoh keeps saying no, 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 part of that is that the divine has hardened Pharaoh's heart. And I feel kind of sympathetic, because if you've ever been in a situation where you felt your own heart harden and you've acted ways you wish you didn't, And then I think of Esau. He was a bit of a brute, but he didn't deserve to have his birthright tricked from his brother, and then for his brother to get the blessing. And so as Esau is coming to encounter Jacob, what is it that he is looking for? What is he seeking from his brother who's coming back to him? And the rabbis talk about this angel who is wrestling with Jacob is actually an angel of Esau. It's the spirit of Esau. And I love this idea that it's not about a physical confrontation, it is about a spiritual confrontation. And that Esau has to confront Jacob spiritually and see that he has changed as a person. And this angel in his stead does this. This angel is able to see that Jacob has transformed. And in that sense, he is released. And then the thing that he is wrestling with, the thing that Jacob's wrestling with, is what gives him a blessing. And it's also a blessing for Esau, because he's kind of released of having to hate this brother, because the brother is no longer Jacob. The brother is a new person. And it can be very hard, even in micro moments, to give forgiveness. And I'll just conclude with a short story, is that yesterday morning, almost all of my stories are about Will Rogers Park, but I was running in Will Rogers Park, and it was amazing. It's so beautiful there. If you haven't been there, you should go there, if anyone's here from out of town. And just towards the end, I came down through the eucalyptus trees, and there's like a paved path and then a dirt path up high, and I love the dirt path. I go up there. And I came down, and just as I was coming to the end, there's probably about 6 feet wide, 7, 8 feet wide, and I see 2 women in their 70s with 1 dog, and we're kind of running by them, and then out of nowhere, the dog leaps out, and it scrapes me or bites me in the back of my thigh, and I'm so stunned. And I stop, and she gets the dog under control, and I was like, oh my God, like, what just happened? It was so painful. I was so shocked. I was in this groove. I was listening to 90s hip hop, and it was amazing. And I'm in pain. And the woman said, well, this other woman not holding the dog says, well, he didn't break your skin. And I was like, hey, this really hurts. Like I'm just trying to, I said to her, I'm trying to catch myself here, but it looks, I'm seeing blood. So I think that does mean that it broke skin. And she was like, well, we were trying to get him under control. And I was like, well, it's a wide path. Like you should have him to the side. Well, he doesn't like runners. Well, if he doesn't like runners, then maybe you shouldn't have him in a place where people are running. And then the woman with the dog, as if she had just taken some like advanced course, she just looked right at me and she said, I am so sorry. You are totally right. We should have had that dog under control. I really hope you're okay. And that was all I needed. I was like, okay, you didn't mean for that to happen. I got it. I could really hear that she was serious. Her partner, less sincere. But I really got it from her, and I felt something release. Now, I don't know what Esau was carrying with him, but we all carry so much in relationships that are troubled and that weigh on us. And sometimes we can do the releasing. We can send the angels ahead. And we can hear back that something has changed in them that allows us to release. So I just want to invite us this Shabbat, if there's something that you are feeling like you are just in the dirt and you are wrestling with this thing and it is not serving you, that you just invite yourself to release it, just to let go of it. And maybe a blessing will reveal itself and you'll see, will this be a moment of transformation for you? May it be so. With this community together in the sanctuary, I want to shift our attention to those that are struggling of mind, body, spirit. If there is somebody that you are thinking of, invite you to either stand up or to just raise your hand so that you can speak their name aloud for the Misha Beirach. Invite people that are joining us online to speak the names aloud. We add Rini Perlmutter to the names and invite us to join together in the middle of page 253 for Misha Beirach.
Misha Beirach Avotenu Mekor Habracha Lavotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before
invite you to rise for the Aleinu on the bottom of page 282.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latet gedula leotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoye haratzot velo samanu kemishbechot adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר וידוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד.
It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved, cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do our best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world, and each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. As we recite Kaddish this evening, we especially remember Edgar Aberman, Rose Haber Alexander, Paul Bierman, Janice Bernstein, Jack Chernus, David Diamond, Estelle Diamond, David Dresser, Yves DeBoeuf, Reginald Gilbert, Faye Betty Green, Tracy Lynn Grunauer Baxter, Eugene Herzog, Nathan J. Kurland, Florence Lassers, Morris Mandel, Jacob Rader Marcus, Caroline Fetchheimer, Doris W. Marks, Marvin Marish, Miriam Olean, Leah Poster, Howard Ratner, Pam Ratner, Ruth Rogenstein, Norman W. Sadek, Ethel Salinger, Minnie Malek Smiler, Sydney Smith, Bessie Warschau, D. Weinberg, Dorothy Wittert. If there's others that you are thinking of and would like to speak their name aloud, I invite you to stand or to raise your hand so I can call on you. I invite you to rise to join in the Kadisha Tome on page 294. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yama divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayachon v'yomechon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mivarach leolam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. Yitadar yitaleh yitalal shmei dekudasha brichu. Leila min kol berchata v'sherata. Tush b'chata v'nechanata. Dal mi'aran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May their memories continue to be a blessing in our lives.
Oh, say shalom bimroma. Huya say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom. So great to be with all of you online and particularly those in person, and an early Mazel Tov to Kyle and your family. And I hope you just have a really wondrous weekend.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
this, this.